This article here is entitled From Drought to Mudslides. And I think that in California here, we need a rain management strategy, water management strategy. Now, we're here the coast, the Pacific coast, and we should be doing desalination of water. I saw an article or one of the documentaries in which they said that desalination and regular purification of water, they just differ by a couple of cents. Now, say it's 8 cents a gallon to purify regular water, rainwater or whatever from the lake or whatever. It might be 10 or 11 cents to do desalination, and you have some serious byproducts, the saline water. But I wonder if this salt that is in the water can be turned to using for cooking salt. You make sure you filter out all the trash and all the other things like that. And after you do the desalination, you do a kind of a vaporization and dry it off, and you probably could have salt. I don't know, even for the roads, perhaps. So you don't have to necessarily put it back into the sea and create in a situation where you're increasing the salination in a certain location or whatever. Or if you drive your ship and you're dropping off little at a time going down, and you don't just dump all at one place. All right. And so wherever these landslides are, you see, long time ago, trees were everywhere, forests and so on. And I've had the privilege of sheltering under trees in my country. When it starts to rain, before you could get wet under the tree, it's about 5 minutes after the rain has started falling. Let's use a figure like 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes. All right, if it has thick foliage, because the water drops on one leaf, it drops on the next one, keep dropping, some evaporating or whatever, and then starts to drop on you. And this is what trees used to do. So that without the trees, now the water gets straight on the land. The land is bare, doesn't have grass or anything, so it starts to treculate a little bit, it starts to slide a little bit, and as it's moving, it's taking particles little, and then starts to create a ravine, and then the whole section falls off, and whole houses and all that go on under this line. But even apart from the trees, these people now have paved their yards, and so all the water now accumulates real quick, goes to the street, and I'm not sure where they have the drains. You would assume that they have sewers that can take it from there up in the hills, wherever, take it down someplace and let it get to the ocean. Again, they send it to the ocean. But perhaps not all the water may come into the street. Some might find a way to get out and go over the paved part of the yard and starts to, get a situation causing, and it might even end up causing that whole same house to slide off the land. So we have to come up with a way. We having enough rain, I believe, so as not to have a drought. Plus, we could desalinate to sell for manufacturing or whatever, even if it's not for consumption. We could use that for whatever processes we're using water for. Down in LA, they have an insatiable need for water because of industry and whatever. Okay. Now, this might be a long-term plan. What about if every house had a system of cisterns? Now, in my country, we had vats, a big wooden something in the yard, and when it rains, it goes in there, and you can use that water later to do things. What about if every house or every building is responsible for collecting the rain that falls on its property, its paved side, its roof, whatever, and collect it, and then we connect all to the sewer, and at a special time when the city could handle it, you say, well, okay, we could take section A, you send your water down now, or you send trucks in to get it or whatever, section B, and so you get all the water that fell. And even some of that they could use to even water their lawns, but then again, the city wouldn't be making money by selling the water, and therefore, if people using this water, they collect it now for their lawns, then the city won't be getting any money for use of water, and therefore the price is gonna have to go up for whatever is used, and it's on and on, it's this and that and whatever. But still, maybe they should use the water for the yards. Maybe we should pay them maybe 3 cents a gallon for collecting it towards whatever infrastructure they put in, whether it's plastic containers or whatever they use to collect the water. That money could go to help them out that, or subsidize it. So here we could have a growth industry taking care of this water collection system, and so I think that these are things that we could do to solve our drought problem. reduce the water going to the sea and to the ocean, and also preventing landslides, because it doesn't have to be when it rains that you have a slide. And perhaps we should also plan ahead that when people build in certain places, they should have retaining walls, well constructed retaining wall. And I think that this would be one way of solving this problem here, this mudslides in LA.